Hello, it's Peter Kettle here. So today I'm going to show you how I build the cover page on one of my workbooks. So we've already got the border, we've already got the template ready, copy of the text with border. So we actually just transfer all the text from a Word document. So I've got everything written out in Word ready. So here we are. And we're going to do personal responsibility. So we just copy all that text. We come back to Canva, right click and paste. And that should paste all the text into there. There we are. Now I'm going to take it to the top. So we've got personal responsibility. Now if you want to increase the size of your title, you just highlight it, click on the 24 and take it to what you want it to be. So 28, 32, 32 is too big, I want it all on one line. So we go back to 28. Then what we want to do is we want to create a bit of space between the personal responsibility and the ownership. Creates freedom. So we just hit enter twice, brings it down a little bit. I don't want it in italics, so we're going to turn the italics off, but I want it in bold. Okay, so that looks pretty good, so I'm happy with that so far. So then what we want to do is want to create a bit of space between ownership creates freedom and the moment you take full responsibility. So again, we press enter twice and we highlight all this because I want it slightly bigger. So I'm going to try 14. But what I also want is I don't want it in bold. I want it to be off bold. So just unclick bold. And I like that. But what I'm going to attempt to do, I'm going to attempt to make it just a fraction bigger. So let's try it on 16. That's it. I like that. That's good. Okay. And then we go down. Now this is a line I've not got made up to post across. So this is going to be version 2. 2.0. And I always put, so this workbook's going to be for tomorrow. So I'm going to put tomorrow's date in. 10th of July, 2026. Okay. And then the next line I'll put in is a line that I've got ready in Word on this page. Just go back into Word, that's it. We go to the top of the page and we have this saying here. And I always like that to be on my front pages. So we copy, we go back into Chrome, back to where we were there, and we just paste. Okay, now that's come up far too big. That's come up at 16. We don't want it to be 16, we want it to be 12. So again, highlight on the size of the letters and we put it back to 12. Also, I don't want it to be bold. So we unclick bold, but I want it in italics. So we put the italics there. Now the next line, next 3 lines, is something that I don't copy and paste, I do it by the book. So I want the top bit to be bold, but I don't want the italics on, so we click the italics off. And it's by me, Peter Kettle. Then we go down to the next line, so it's Shift, Enter. That stops the space between the lines becoming too big. Shift and Enter. We take the bold off. And this next line is a founder of Peter Kettle Coaching. the kettle method. And that's the coaching method I use to help people out. Shift and enter, and again we're going to put version 2, but this time we don't highlight it. And tomorrow's date. Right, so we've done the page. Now we've got to line it up with the border. Okay, but before we do that too far, we're just going to dress the border. So we've got a thin narrow line around. It's not what I want, so I'll click on it. Click on these lines here. It'll give you up what is called a stroke weight. Now that's the thickness of the line. I want to have 10. So it increases the thickness of the line straight away. You can have it any thickness you want, so you can go back to it. If you want it to be 7 in return, slightly thinner. So it's whatever you want it to be. So I want 10, return, enter. I'm not happy with it being green. So you can adjust the colour by using this circle here. If you click on it, it will give you all the different colours in the spectrum that you want. I want green for this one. So it changes it to green. So we've set the front page up and we've dressed it to green. Now I want to make the page, I want to fill all the page up. So we click at the bottom, put the cursor there, and we go back to there. Okay, just one little error I've seen there. It's meant to be a capital J, not a problem. Back, capital J, but we increase it. So we go to the front, put the cursor by Peter Kettle, and we push it down, and it increases the text box. If it's too big and goes in the next page, not a problem. Just hit backspace and it puts it there. So if we now look at the page in its entirety, so you can increase and decrease the size of the page by this tool here. And if we look at that page in full, now I'm not quite happy with this. This is too far. There's too small a gap. There's too big a gap between by Peter Kettle and this quote here. So we can take it down one. Then we're going to bring it back. Then we're going to put it back in central. And that's it. I'm happy with that. That page has worked out really well. Now, if you want to do a second page, show page thumbnails. Okay. Click on that and it will give you all the pages at the bottom of the screen. Now you don't have to start with the copy of a copy of a text box with border. If you scroll over this, you get 3 dots. When you click on the 3 dots, you hit duplicate page. And what it gives you is that page again. Then we can go down and we can delete, knowing that the text in the previous page is all safe. Go delete. That gives us a clean box ready to paste our next lot. Now I'm going to do it for you just now while I'm here, because the next page is the copyright page. So we just scroll down a little bit and I just highlight all the copyright. Copy back into Canva and we just go paste, and it will eventually fill it all out. There we are. Same again. I'm happy with the top. There's no work needed on the top, but we want this, our tag, at the bottom. So we go back. That's in the UK, and we just push it down. We can take it down a fraction further so we can see where we are. Now I know if I do one more, That's going to possibly push it over. No, one more and it will. So we come back, we do that. So there we are. There's our first 2 pages of the next workbook done. Hope that helps someone. It looks like an awful lot of work. Once you've done it for a while and you've got used to the process, it's not as difficult as you think. Thanks very much for your time.